It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, we're going to do something that I've been meaning to do for months. I want to get my locomotives programmed and set up to work with the ProtoThrottle. Am I going to be able to make that happen? I have no idea, but we'll see how it goes. And of course, I've already forgot to set up my camera over here so that you guys can actually see what's happening with the locomotive when I do the programming. So I'm going to take a moment to do the thing that I should have done a half an hour ago, because if I'm going to be behind on one thing, I might as well be behind on everything. So now that that's set up, unless there's like some other thing going on that people want to talk about, I'm just going to kind of jump right into it because this could take a while. So to start off, this is what my typical locomotive card currently looks like. And as you can see, my little function mapping at the bottom is cut off, so I knew I was going to have to reprint these anyway, but this is basically what I was using. And it's got the, the number in big DCC address, so you know what the address is. Let me find a different one. Okay, here we go. Here's a better example. So this one, as you see, up here in the corner, it says Consist 101. And the idea that I had is that that is what would be the address that you call up on the throttle. But it's, I wasn't sure how to make it work. And so I was kind of like struggling with what to do and how I should, get things going. And so Lynn says no ditch lights. So the aux, F5 aux lights would be the ditch lights. On a lot of N-scale locomotives, though, they don't necessarily have ditch lights. They just have the light board backlighting. So whatever it ends up being, F5 would be that aux lighting thing. So I kind of had these cards, and as I was getting into this process and trying to like rack my brain to figure out what I was going to do, excuse me, I decided that I was going to print my car cards in various different colors. So, for example, back here, I said, well, you know, a caboose needs to be red because it's the end of the train. So this isn't really red, but it's close enough to red. So red would be stop. So of course that means green would be go, right? So that's how this is working. This locomotive at this point is a road locomotive. This is a locomotive that brings trains from Selkirk, which is kind of my off layout, on layout area. It's my staging. Selkirk is my staging. And this locomotive is one of the road locomotives that would bring the train down into Croton Harmon, which is my northernmost yard. So this train at this point doesn't have a partner, doesn't have a pair. So the car card basically still looks the same. This actually is not laminated. These are actually clear pockets that I got. I saw these at a op session when I was out in California, and I asked about them, and it seems like there is exactly one company that makes these, and this was the company. So I had to cut this guy a little bit. You can see this guy ends at F7 switching. I had to cut them to fit, but they did fit. But where we're going from here, though, is that obviously I made, you know, all of my cards again. And what I did was, as you can see here, right, this is a reminder, this was the old one, and it had the consist number on it, but that's what the new one is going to look like. So consist 101, so same thing here, consist 101. And just so you know, the reason the S is in front of it is when you use CV19 consisting, essentially your consist number is a short decoder address. So it's S101, so people know that it should be a short address, not a long address. Yes, so laminate, I did mention laminated. So I do have the laminator. I am laminating things. I'm very excited about it. These are laminated. I also made up little cards like this for each industry so you know where the spots are. So these are laminated. So I do have certain things that are laminated, but I will show you in a second why I didn't laminate these is because my function information is on the back. So as I kind of change things around and whatnot, I still wanted to be able to have the ability to pull these out if I needed. Also, as you can kind of see, this doesn't quite fit right. I obviously kind of messed up the sound. But if you want to run Consist 101, you would grab, you know, this car card, type 101 into the throttle, and if you need it, you know, there are your functions. And this basically shows you what are the two locomotives that are on that consist. So we've got 1266 and 1271. They're both Alco S4s. They both have ESU LokSound 5, micro DCC Direct Atlas S2 decoders. What I've done at this point is all of them basically have the same decoder. It's just, it makes it easier. I don't have to go through and speed match everything, which I do eventually want to do, but at this moment, I'm not going through and speed matching. So for right now, all of these, as you notice, they're basically same locomotives, same decoders. The ESU Select Direct Micro is a LokSound 4 decoder. So that one, although it's got the same exact functions, it does behave slightly differently than the 5, so probably won't set that one up tonight because that one's going to be a little different. But we'll set up 104 tonight, which are the Pan Am locomotives. And if we swing over onto my programming track, you can see the 2 Pan Am locos are already sitting over there. 105, if I can get them separated, is another ESU 5, but it's a different decoder. It's a 5 nano DCC instead of a 5 micro DCC. If you ask ESU, what is the difference between all these decoders? Do you have a map that sort of explains it to you? It doesn't actually explain it to you. Joey's mentioning he buys his locos in pairs. That is essentially what I have on my layout so far, is everything in pairs. Yes, I am going to be using the ESU LokProgrammer. I do have all of these locomotives already in JMRI, so when you're using the Y-throttle server and using the Wi-Fi throttle, you do see the locomotive information as it is in JMRI, but for the exercise today, yes, I'm going to use the ESU programmer. This guy, again, another set. These are road locomotives, but I am probably going to consystem up anyway. This guy, another set of switchers. Now, this one, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I think I'm going to give it a try. I don't know Canadian railroads, so I have no idea whether Canadian Pacific and Canadian National would ever actually run locomotives together on the same train. But these are both ESU 5 decoders, so theoretically I should get similar functionality out of them, but they are different. They're both micro DCCs though, so I don't know if this pairing is going to work without speed matching. I might be forced to speed match these, but we're going to find out and see how it goes. Here is another set of my Canadian National GMD switchers. These obviously are another pair. This is another set that is not an exact pair, but they both have ESU Select Direct micros. The reason I am keeping the Select Direct micros separate from the 5s is because when they went from the Select Direct micro, which is the LokSound 4, to the LokSound 5, the way braking functions handle is very different. So while I feel like I can kind of mix up the different locomotives, they are all Atlas, so they probably all have similar gearing and similar motors in them. I'm not going to put 5s and 4s together because when I go to hit the brake button, things will go wrong very quickly. The reason, as I mentioned, if you're just coming in, is I want to get these all set up on the ProtoThrottle. So all of these locomotives are going to have a lot of momentum, and you are going to have to use the brake to stop them. So it will likely be in your best interest to use the ProtoThrottle with any of these pairs of locomotives. Now, I get it. There are people out there that do not like momentum. They hear the word momentum and switching, and it's just a non-starter. So I do have you guys covered as well. I've got a couple Paragon 4 switchers. So while these do not have a brake function on them, I will not put them on the ProtoThrottle. But should you want to, you can run with the Paragon 4 locomotives, and they won't have any momentum, and your switching will be lickety split. But yes, for me, I know we're model railroaders. It's a switching layout. But yeah, I mean, momentum, it's all about, because everybody knows, I don't know if he's here right now, so I'm kind of poking at a specific person right now, but everybody knows I love being as prototypical as possible on my layout, so using a lot of momentum is the way to do it. And Steve's right. For those of you that don't like momentum, you are probably running way, way too fast as it is. Who was it? Joey pointed out here, Late Night Model Railroad, pairing up the BLIs is to make a poor man's keep alive. My layout runs pretty darn well. There are very, very few spots on my layout. I can only kind of think of one that is kind of... My layout is pretty darn good. You can run pretty darn slow on my layout, but yes, if you consist the two locomotives together, they will help them along the way. So yeah, I put the momentum. I will be putting my momentum up at full, at 100%, and I know that's going to be very triggering for people, but you know, that's just the way it is going to be. So let me reorder these, and we will go and start getting to work and see if we can't make this happen. So I just put them in order again. So we'll probably start with number 1, right? I mean, that's no. We said we're gonna start with number 4. Why start with number 1 when you can start with number 4, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with number 4. Gonna get these out of the way. I do have everything kind of set up, ready to go. Hopefully it can be kind of seen. Some people were talking about not using locomotive cards. The reason why you want to use locomotive cards on your layout is if you have other people coming over to your layout, you want to make sure that they know how your locomotives run on the layout. And not everybody uses the same function mapping. A lot of people in my area use F4 as the brake, so a lot of people will know that, but some people might need this information. So this kind of gives everybody, when somebody decides to use a locomotive or they pick up a next train, this just makes it easy for your guest operators. That's what the paperwork is all about. The paperwork is all about making other people's life easier, not necessarily yours. Paul did say that he has a bunch of locos that are all the same. I am noticing so far that things have worked out pretty well for me. I've been running most of these in pairs already. The biggest problem that I have had so far is that all of my locomotives are set so that they wait for the sound to come up before they move. And what that means is when you acquire two locomotives and you press the F8 button, if they're not consisted for some reason, it kind of, I don't know, it takes a little bit for them to get going. And yes, Steve, as somebody that writes technical manuals, as I know you do, or as at least I think I'm remembering you do, yes, writing manuals does make things easier. So, shall we get started? First things first, we're going to pull one of the locomotives off the programming track, and the reason we're doing that is because, well, you can't have two locomotives on the programming track. It just will not work. Let's zoom in, I guess, a little bit so we can kind of see things a little bit better where we're going. LokProgrammer is open using version 5.2.12. Yeah, we'll see. It's obviously a prototypical thing, right? That the locomotive doesn't move until the sound comes on, right? Your car, well, obviously, if you drive an electric vehicle, this kind of doesn't apply to you, but your car will not move if you haven't turned on the engine and had the engine start moving. So similar with the locomotive, you actually have to turn the locomotive on and wait for the engine to get up to speed before it'll actually move. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the way it works. You guys will notice I've got the ProtoThrottle on my stand, so it does act as a nice little stand, so you don't have to hold it and carry it around. It gives you your hands free for, well, as Joey says, holding your beer. Joey says, I'll get my car to move without it being on. And yes, if you're on a steep enough hill, it will work. First thing we're going to do is I am going to read in the decoder information. I do have a folder that I started, and basically what I started doing, here we go, LokProgrammer. So I do have in this folder, I do have a bunch of files already. These are files basically that I just, read the factory information from each locomotive. So I could just, this is 516, I could just open this file and we could just start by looking at this file, but I'm going to show you guys a little something here that I just learned that I didn't know. But when you open a file, for whatever reason, and I don't exactly understand this, the sound slots and stuff just say sound slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know about anybody else, but I don't know what sound CV1 is, and it would take me a lot to look it up. So what I found is if you read in the locomotive, like this, when the information comes in, I'm ashamed, I'm less prototypical than Heath. I turn the, what? What, Paul? Paul, man, you have lost your prototypical certification. That is just unacceptable. And yeah, I've popped the clutch on a motorcycle many times. Okay, so we just read in this decoder, you can see it's 516 up here. Maybe you can see depending on the size of your screen. Enable DCC constants address is not set. We have not set this locomotive up. So we will need to do that. But by reading in, it just comes up down here. By reading in the sounds, if we go actually to function mapping is probably a good spot to go. If we read in the sounds, you can actually kind of see over here on the right, all the sounds are actually coming in with their names. And that is very helpful in understanding what is going on. And I am, I see shift mode 1. Yeah. So very helpful to know, F8 is, 1 GMD 16, blah, 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 right? Oh, and I forgot to mention it. Thank you, Nitro Star, for bringing it up. We do have a poll going on tonight. What do you use to make your trains go? Basically, I'm asking wireless throttles, wired throttles, if you're DC, or in my case, a lot of yelling. Which CV is the sound of silence? Are you asking what CV you use to turn down the volume, or are you asking what CV is tied to F8 so that you can turn the sound of your locomotive on and off? It's not CV8. CV8 is actually the manufacturer's CV in essence. When you read back the CV information tab, this tab here, CV8 basically tells you what the not that one, this one, no, where does it tell it? One of them, it tells you what the decoder is what CV8 does. Yes, F8 turns it on and off, but then that's not the function, or that's not the CV, that's the function. Anyway, let's keep going. So we got that guy on there. So there are a couple of things that I need to do. And unfortunately, what I probably should have done is figured some of this out ahead of time. But this is, as I've said, this is going to be 104. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to enable DCC consist address. We're going to type in 104. And the part that I never remember is I don't know which locomotive wants its direction reversed. And then I don't know which locomotive wants which light forward or reverse. But we're going to get a little bit more, into, CV8 to 8 is decoder reset. Which comes in very handy when you screw things up, like I will likely do at some point tonight. And I know people say this about their layouts, keep it simple and all this kind of stuff like that. I am taking on the hard part so that everybody else can enjoy what's going on. And yeah, the loco reversed is the one going backwards. What I'm never 100% sure of is which is the locomotive, whether it's running long cab forward or short cab forward or wherever. So what I generally do is I'll set it up and then I'll put it on the track and then we'll test it and we'll see what happens. And it will either work or it won't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm enabling the DCC consist address. We're setting it at 104. For now, we're not going to choose reverse direction, but we are going to choose, actually, I do think it is actually reverse direction. So I'm gonna set this one. I want all of my locomotives to do the bell, the horn, the coupler, be able to turn the quote ditch lights on or off. So I check F1 through F10 for all of my locomotives. Now, the way this locomotive is facing, it's actually going to be facing, it's facing now in the reverse direction. The reason I'm doing that is because on the ProtoThrottle, let's make this a little bigger here. On the ProtoThrottle, this is your forward and reverse. So forward is this way and reverse is this way. So when I'm standing at the layout, looking at the layout, forward is going to send the locomotive that way. Reverse will send the locomotive that way, so it follows the back and forth. Obviously, on something like a TCS throttle, doesn't matter as much because the arrows go up and down. But on a ProtoThrottle where it has forward and reverse, as well as on like a UT6D that also has a forward and a reverse, having the direction of the little throw thing going in the right direction is important. Now, we're going to talk about controlling lighting and controlling lighting with the ProtoThrottle. So normally, the way the locomotive works, and if we look at the function mapping here for a second, you can see here that forward F0 or reverse F0 do two different things, right? One is turning on aux1, which I don't really understand why it's not turning on the front light, but it looks like F5 is the front light, I don't know why they're switched. Well, maybe we'll have to figure that out. Maybe they're wired where I don't know why that's like that. Anyway, so you'll see forward F0 and reverse F0 do different things, right? So what I'm going to do, because F0 does different things in different directions, if you look at the ProtoThrottle, it's got a headlight front dial and a headlight rear dial. So if I put F0 as front and back, and then put F0 as my things on the dials, it's not going to work out right. So what I do is I'm going to go in here and I am going to use 23, 24, 25, and 26, 27, and 28 as my lighting specifically for the ProtoThrottle. Nobody will know that I'm using those functions. Those functions are not on here at all. I will only have the functions, set up in the software, so nobody will know, but I will know. So 23, 24, 25. Actually, so I'm thinking about this. I don't think I need to set up. Do I need to set up 26, 27, and 28? I think I do. I got very confused about this. I think this locomotive, because it's traveling in reverse, actually needs 26, 27, 20. So this is the kind of thing that, like, I should have written it down. And maybe after I do this one, maybe I will write it down so the next one's a little easier. But we're going to set up 23, 24, and 25 as the front light, as the light that is the front light when the locomotive is going forward. So on my locomotive that is on the back, the front light of the locomotive only comes on when when the consist is going in reverse, when that locomotive is going on. You'll see. You'll see. It's a little confusing. Okay, so we're enabling the DCC consist address. We reverse the direction. We set 104. We've turned on all of our little check boxes that says when this locomotive is running as a consist, these are the functions that it will respond to. It won't respond to any functions that are off. Analog settings, there's nothing we need to do. Brake settings. Is this where I set it? I don't think this is where I set it. I think I set it here in driving characteristics. This one looks different than the other one that I set up. So now I don't see, here we go. Enable acceleration time, time from maximum speed to stop. Right now it's at 18 seconds. We're going to drag this up to full, so 228.48 seconds. If you do not hit the brake, this locomotive is going to travel my entire layout. That's just the way it is. I got to figure out why all the ditch lights all come on when I've got my locos in the consist. How are you consisting your locomotives? Are you using CV19 or are you using a different method? If you're using CV19, well, you'll see. You'll see what I'm about to do. So momentum is on at full. It is going to keep going and going and going without stopping. Function outputs, you can see it's got front light, rear light, aux 1. I don't know what aux 5 and 6 are, but they're obviously enabled, but they've got no name on them. Function settings, I'm not going to do anything here. I am going to go into the sound settings though, and I'm going to set my master volume at 60 on the CVs, which works out to 46.88%. I have found that 60 on the sound settings seems to be working pretty well for me. Sound slot settings, I'm not going to change anything here. Nothing in manual CV, nothing in special options. There's no smoke unit. I'm not changing the speed curve at this time. One of the things I am debating, though, and if anybody has an opinion on it, I'm debating whether I should change the speed table in the decoder or whether I should change the speed table on the throttle. I think I am going to do it in the decoder, so I'll do that later for today's activity. I'm not going to worry about it. So the thing we're going to look at now is function mapping. So the goal again is to set this up with the ProtoThrottle, but I do also want it to work with any regular throttle that anybody picks up. So let me just slide this over just so we can make things a little bigger. You can see things a little bit better. So we're going to do things, it's going to seem like we're doing a little bit of extra stuff, but we're doing it for the ProtoThrottle. I am not going to touch F0. F0 is still going to work on your average throttle. So if you are not using the ProtoThrottle and you grab this consist with a regular throttle, you will use F0, which will bring up the headlight depending on which direction it goes in. The thing I'm going to change here is we're going to change F4. That F4 brake only works when it's driving. So if it's driving, F4 will stop the locomotive. But what if the locomotive is already stopped, you say? Well, we're going to go down here. We're going to add another F4. And this F4 is going to be if the locomotive is not driving. So if the locomotive is stopped, what I want it to do is not move, but if you ramp it up, I want it to go and make all the sounds and whatnot, as if it's like, you know, you're revving the locomotive up, but nothing's moving, right? So that's called drive hold. So I set drive hold here, and just to keep my little chart all neat and fancy, I'm going to move this guy back up to here. So what I have now is if you press F4 and the locomotive is moving, it will stop the locomotive. If you press F4 and the locomotive is stopped, you will have drive hold, right? So that's what we got. That's the way it's going to work. Now, on to the lighting, right? As I've said, F0 is going to be the headlight for the regular throttle. And as we talked about up here, right, I've enabled 26, 27, and 28 on this one. 23, 24, 25 is it's basically, it's going to be my front and my reverse lights, right? So what I'm going to do down here now, and I'm realizing that I probably don't actually need to change 23, 24, and 25 because I'm only using 25, 26, and 27. Sorry, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. So I could probably leave these, but we're just gonna, I always end up screwing this up. Again, if I wrote things down, I would know what to do. I didn't write things down, so it is what it is. So we're gonna zero things out. So now, to get the front light on when it's going in reverse, what I think I need to set this as, so I'm basing it on this, right? So aux1 seems to be forward, rear light seems to be 1. The front light seems to be my ditch lights, F5. So we're going to go down here. So F26 is going to be my front light. I know it's a little confusing. F27 is going to be my front light dimmed. So we're going to select dimmer here. And then F28 is going to be my front ditch lights, which seems to be that one. I don't know why, but that's the way it's doing it. So I think this is all I need to actually set up here. I don't think I need to set up 23 through 25 if I've got this going in the right direction. So the next thing to do is we are going to send it over to the programming track, and I am now programming that locomotive. Theoretically, that's it. ESU locomotives program very quickly when not on JMRI, but on the Loc Sound Decoder. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way. We're going to put this guy up here, and I usually will use this throttle when I am first checking out a locomotive, just because it's easier for me. So we are not going to steal 107. Instead, we're going to bring up 104. So I'm typing up 104 now and selecting 104. So you can see it says 104S up at the top. And I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to roll. It's moving a little bit. That is because it is in the forward position, but it's reversed, so it's going that way when it's in forward. If I click the other way and now go in reverse, it's going in reverse. Okay, so the good news is I got that going in the right direction. When I hit 4, you'll notice the locomotive does stop, so that is good. If we do bring up 8, you guys probably won't be able to hear the sound, but you'll have to trust me. The sound is on. You know, if I click 0, I can see the headlights switching from one side to the other. I realize you guys can't see that, but the headlight is following the correct direction. So now that I got that set up, I'm going to turn this throttle off, and we're going to turn on that ProtoThrottle. And now we need to set it up on the ProtoThrottle itself. And that's a little bit, well, it's kind of easy actually, because I've already got a profile in here. So I'll show you how we're going to do that in a second. So I realized I didn't turn the sound or the light off. So it was still making noise. So I turned this back on to turn the sound off. Now we're going to grab the ProtoThrottle. We're going to turn the ProtoThrottle on. I don't know if you guys can see the light coming on or not, but ProtoThrottle came on. I am going to, gotta go back home. It was, come on. Okay. So right now, S107 is selected. I was messing around a little bit earlier, so we are just going to make this 104 off of 107. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go to set loco, and we are going to change this to 104. So I'm making a profile for this locomotive under 104. So now if I go back to here, and we're going to go down, we're going to go to slot 4. I'm going to save the 104 config in slot 4. So I'm slaving 101 in slot 1, 102 in slot 2, 103 in slot 3, and so on and so forth. So I've now got this locomotive saved. First thing I'm going to do is question why that light is on right now. I don't know why that light is on, but we're going to start up the loco, engine off. Maybe let's if I turn this, does that make it easier to see? Yeah, that's kind of easier to see. So the engine's off. We're going to turn the engine on. Again, you guys can't hear it, but it is coming up. I really don't know why that light is on. The rear light is on. Very confused by that. Okay, so the engine is up. When I pull this, again, you can't hear it, but I can hear it. It's pretty quiet at 60. So I am likely going to remember that it's very quiet, and when I put it back on the programming track, we'll boost the volume up a little bit. We're going to set the direction to forward, and we're going to throttle up, and we're going to see if the locomotive moves, and it does. Flip this off and apply the brake, and the locomotive will stop. Flip this back off, we'll go reverse, same thing again, we'll throttle up. Locomotive should start moving. Again, take the throttle to 0. Locomotive continues as if there's nothing stopping it until you hit the brake, and then the locomotive stops. So that is step 1, although it's not stopping. Why are you not stopping? There we go. For whatever reason, it didn't read the brake. I don't know. Let's do this again, because, oh, so we can show this now too. With the brake on and set to forward, if I idle up, it should not move, and you guys can't hear it, but I can hear it. The engine is ramping up on the locomotive right now, but it's not going to move because it's set on drive hold. And then when I release the brake, the locomotive will start moving. And then again, to stop it, when the brake is applied, it should stop. It rolls a little too much. I think I might need to turn the momentum down, because even with the thing, it seems to be it seems to be rolling a lot, and I'm not sure why. Somebody was asking, can you feather the brakes? It is set up right now on pulse, so theoretically you could let off the brake and let it keep rolling. I have found with the Loc Sound 5 decoders, yes, it has that gradual stop. With the Loc Sound 4 decoders, the second you turn it on, it stops. It's like an immediate brake. Yeah, deceleration is at 100% right now, or it's at the longest. It's at the longest time. So you guys, this might be a little hard to see. That light is now off. So what I'm going to do is headlight front. If I turn this on, it should have just turned on. Okay, so when I turn on headlight rear, I can actually turn this around. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. But so this is going to be the rear of the locomotive, because when it goes in reverse, that's going to be forward. So when I turn the headlight on, that is dim, and I don't know if you can see it, but it did just come on dim. That did not make it brighter, but it should have made it brighter. And then when you turn on the ditch lights, the upper, so I don't know if you can make that out or not, but I'm turning the banners on and off. I don't know why the light seems to have one brightness level. Maybe it's slightly different. Maybe you just can't tell with all the light on, I think. So the light is working, so everything is kind of working exactly how I thought it should. But I do want to make the sound louder. So let's put that guy back on the programming track. We're going to come back here as well. What do you mean no reverse button? There is no reverse button. There is a reverse, lever, right? Like this is your forward reverse. So it's not a button, it's a lever. So let's come back to the sound settings, and I don't want the sound too loud, but I do want the sound to be, I don't know, like, I want it to be present a little bit. So we'll try 80. We'll see how 80 works. And when you get the two locomotives together, obviously, you'll get kind of a thing as well, an adding of sound. Okay, so we just changed the sound. I'm not going to test it, but what I am going to do is I am going to save this. So where did I put it? LokProgrammer. So here's 516. So this is 516 for the factory, but this is going to be the 516 for the ProtoThrottle. So I will save that as the 516 for the ProtoThrottle. Now, next step, I'm going to set up the second locomotive in this consist. So to make my life easier, instead of basically kind of going in like I know now certain setups and stuff. So instead of redoing anything, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 519, which is the forward locomotive, on. Let me turn that off just so the sound stops. So I'm going to put the forward locomotive on there, which is 519, and I'm going to then change this to 519 for the long address. It's still 104. It's not reversed, so it is forward. Instead of 26, 27, and 28, though, we're going to use 23, 24, and 25, right? So 23, 24, and 25 are the front lights when using the ProtoThrottle in a consist. 26, 27, and 28 is the front light for the trailing locomotive when it's in a consist for the ProtoThrottle. Still going to use the F functions for when we're not using the ProtoThrottle. So master sound looks like, right, it's set at 80 because, right, it was at 80. So as well. I thought about backing off the decel. We'll see. We'll see if I need to. If I run slow enough, I should be okay. So what I think is probably more important is just to adjust the max speed and then go from there. So when we go to function mapping now, what we're going to do is we are going to zero this guy out, right? Because we're zeroing out 23, 24, and 25. And my understanding is, worst case, if you need to go back, as somebody mentioned earlier, just set CV 8 to 8. It'll reset the decoder for you. Okay, so those are all blank. So now we're going to do the same setup here. So aux1 with dimmer, and then this will be front light 1. So now you see 23, 24, 25 is set for this front locomotive for the front lights. 26, 27, 28 is set for the trailing locomotive for the front light. And back in our functions here, I need to make sure 23, 24, and 25 are set, but 26, 27, and 28 are not. So it will not, 26, 27, and 28, which are set to this button here. This knob is 26, 27, 28. This knob is 23, 24, 25. So the front locomotive is only going to listen to 23, 24, 25. 519, so we're going to send this over to the locomotive. It is now updating that locomotive. We will then put both of these up on the tracks, and we will see what we get. I should not have just hit save. I don't know if I just accidentally messed it up. 516 ProtoThrottle 9:54 p.m. Yes, it looks like I probably just screwed that one up. This needs to actually be 5:19 ProtoThrottle. So let me see real quick. Did I screw up 5:16? We're going to open it up. Opening project file. Yep, so I screwed up 5:16. So I'm going to fix 5:16 real quick because I screwed it up. File, save as. So you got to remember, use file save as. Don't use file save. That will keep you out of trouble. So let's go back and we'll open 5:19 just in case I make a change and don't want to screw things up. Okay, so now we're going to head over here. I'm going to put this guy up here. And actually, sorry, we're going to actually leave them separate a little bit. The reason I leave them separate is then I can kind of see how things are working. I don't know why this headlight is back on again. I don't know why that's doing that. I'm going to check to see, did I accidentally leave it? Did I accidentally leave it on with this throttle? I don't know. So I'm going to check that because that is really strange that it is. Come on. I'm trying to put the cover back on and I'm failing. There we go. Press and hold 2. You'll get this menu. You hit 2, it'll come up. It'll select the last one. So we're going to say steel, yes. And we're going to just toggle the light on and off. And it is not going off. And I don't know why, but that light seems to be on irregardless of the direction the locomotive is in. But this one's not doing it. So I don't know what's going on there, but I don't really care. Doesn't really matter. Come on, select that loco. Anyway, let's just get out of this. All right, so we're turning this off. Okay, so we're going to turn this back on. We're going to fire up the locomotives. They should come up. They should be a little louder than the last ones. Yep, I can hear both of them coming up. Both of them make the horn sound. Both of them make the bell sound. So if I turn this on now, I should just get this one coming on. It shouldn't turn the other one on. And when I turn this on, it does nothing. There we go. Now it's working. I don't know why that's on though. Why is that light on? Don't know the answer. Okay. So I've got it set to forward. We're going to take the brake off. We're going to start both of these guys moving. Hopefully they will move about the same-ish, which they kind of are. And this is notch 1. You can see they're running nice and slow, nice and smooth. Brake works much better when you run slow. We'll reverse these guys. Bring it up to notch 1. It'll start moving. And now we can turn it off and hit the brake. Too much in the screen, Paul. What are you guys referring to? I've always dreamed of seeing Heath's elbow in 1080p. I know, Paul. I know. You come here for that experience. That is the experience. So this guy's working now, right? So let's see if we fire it up with the brake on. It shouldn't go anywhere. I really want to know why that light is not on. So who can tell me? Who knows why the light's not on? Take the brake off. It should start taking off. We'll throw that. We'll hit the brake and it stops, right? Exactly as it should. Turn the locomotives off. That is really bugging me. Let's see. Let's take a look at its setup. See if we can figure out why this guy is doing what it's doing. So I'm actually going to read So instead of uploading, downloading, or anything, I'm just going to read from that locomotive to see if something comes back that indicates why that light is on. So the reason why the brake worked really quickly is because I was running at more prototypical speeds. If you run at, full speed 100%, the brake obviously is going to decelerate much faster. There is a way. Let's see. I think it might be here. Brake settings. I believe there is a way to like reduce the brake time, brake function through. There's ways of adjusting it. But let's see if I can figure something out. So 516, forward 26, 27, 28. So that all looks normal. Function mapping. Forward is aux1, reverse is that. Front light F5, but F5 wasn't on. It was just the front light that was on. Front light is here, 26, 27, and 28. Driver's cab, nothing's on there. So I don't know why it's that front light's coming on. I'll probably, here, there is a special, where is it? Let's see. There is a setup. Maybe it's here, function settings. Yeah, nope, that's not it. Where is it? There is a spot where you can set what oh, here, function outputs. There it is. So front one is brightness at 31, dimmable headlight, output mode. aux1 is dimmable headlight, fade in, fade out. It's at 31, so that is correct. Rear light is dimmable, fade in, fade out. Dimmable, fade in, fade out, on. Yeah, so I don't know why it's doing it. I'm gonna send, I'm sure you guys love just watching me like scratch my head. I'm gonna resend it to the locomotive. We'll put it back on the other track, and we'll take a look for a second and see if now that light is off. And of course, it comes right on the second I put, oh no, it is off now. Do I have it selected? I do have it selected. Is it? Let's see. Is it going to come on for me? Oh. I couldn't figure out why the light's not on. It's because the track power is not on. And I turn track power on and that light comes right on again. So I don't know why that is doing that. That should not be doing that. But that is doing that. And that is just a fact of life right now. So I'll have to figure out why that rear light is coming on and staying on. But I do now have another consist on my layout that has enough, enough momentum to make people uncomfortable. But it does still stop. It still does exactly what it should. I am actually running it right now without sound, but it still blows the horn. I just don't have the engine on. So if you don't want to run with sound, you don't have to. But that's kind of, there's the elbow again. I know. It's a very special moment that I really wanted to share with everybody. And I thought before I ended the stream, I would show my elbow one more time. So I've got a bunch of other locomotives as well as this one to figure out why that light is stuck on. From the city that never sleeps. Farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity.